Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dairy Raid. And next up on our look back at the IFAF U20 World Championships, we're going to take a look at the United States playing against Austria in the bronze medal game. And the U.S. is playing in the bronze medal game here after their loss to Japan in the semifinals. Japan would go on to lose to Canada in the gold medal game, giving Canada the three-peat at the IFAF U19 U20 World Championships. Like I said in the last video, it's been 10 years since the U.S. has won a medal or gold medal at this competition. And last video, we talked a little bit about some of the disadvantages the United States has in putting a team together for these. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the advantages some of the international teams have in preparing for a tournament such as this. But then we'll talk about the obvious reasons why that shouldn't even matter, what the advantages other countries have. So we'll sprinkle that in a little bit here and there. So we'll get into this. Let's take a look here. Wisconsin. United States versus Austria. So Austria is the 6-time defending European champions. Austria has, in my opinion, Austrian football is as close to playing in the United States in terms of structure or logistics, program building as you can get. They have some extremely well-funded programs at the senior level, and obviously that gets into the juniors. Austria is not a huge football country in terms of population. There's only about 6,000 registered players in Austria, and that's with all levels, both male, female, tackle, flag. So the player pool for U19 is probably in the hundreds. And what you're seeing here is the top, it's 45 players they have, but they really develop some good ones because they have some really great infrastructure. All right, so we're looking at here first. Little mesh hunt route. I really like this kind of combination, setting up 2 levels, setting that vertical ball up the middle to keep the safety from coming downhill. Nice basic combination. Austria's got a really good set of skill positions. Their quarterback is real solid. He plays for the Vienna Vikings Austrian Football League team in senior level, which is pretty good for a 19-year-old. And he's got a real solid arm. All right, moving on next play here. Screen. What you're going to see here, too, is, again, Austria, they have a pretty solid playbook, but they don't go too fancy. And, again, it comes down to setting up a program that is easily repeatable, playbook that's easy to set up. And so they got double screen here. And he lets you're letting the U.S. kind of pick their poison. This time, we get a good reaction. Is that our guy again? Sure is. Matt Young. He had a great tournament. Nina kid, playing at Bethel, played real well. Fortunately, didn't get a lot of help from his teammates around him throughout the rest of the tournament. All right, condensed formation, a little bit of bobble snap. Able to recover. That was there. Free safety, keeping his side. No, we got a mix up on the jam, or mix up on the coverage here. I don't think this guy right here realized he had man coverage. Kind of tough to be running man coverage in a 3x1 condensed set. I think there was confusion on coverage there. That allowed him to get over the top. Luckily, the bad snap allowed for it to be overthrown, or this would have been touchdown all day. Next up. All right, so the Americans are on the field again. And this is, I saw a lot of this in the game. Austrians had a great pass rush. Because again, like Big 93 here, he plays for their men's team. Again, another Vienna Viking player. And so he playing against high school kids, it's almost easier. And yeah, they have size, they have strength, and they develop good players there. But Americans play well here too. Okay, great job as a 98 here. So they're trying to run outside zone here. He slants inside and kind of slants past both. So does a good job. This is kind of a great mix of the right call at the right time and then good individual effort, snuffing out that stretch in the backfield. Okay, condensed formation coming back with that little mesh hunt route again. Break one tackle, two tackle. Got to get lower. Luckily, our Nina kid is right there to finish off when the rest of his teammates can't finish. And really athletic. I like him. Moving around a lot. Misses the first tackle. They miss the second tackle. But could have been a lot worse. Next play. Curls. Checking it down. Get a big athlete in space. Pretty good running back. Austria, again, has had a history of some pretty good running backs. Sandro Platzkomer is a player who recently came up through their system and ended up playing a couple years with the Giants in the International Player Pathway Program. And because you get with these Austrians, you get this really interesting combination. They got size, but they're really athletic and they got some really good speed. And one could argue if, basically the entire country is training at altitude. I know I coached in Austria back in 2004. And I mean, you can definitely feel the altitude. And yeah, the program has really been getting better. I think that's a big part of it. And I think that'll be a good place. Let's kind of stop here for a second and talk about a couple advantages, especially the European teams have in putting together teams for these kind of tournaments. Is we'll kind of build up through it and we'll talk about how Austria is, for example. So we just talked about how the player pool for Austria, is in the hundreds. Maybe 1,000. I'm not quite sure. Wasn't able to find a total, number of U19 players in Austria, but I know their total players is around 6,000. So you could do the math there. But if you look at a team like this, for example, of the 40, I believe it's 45 players, 17 of them play for the same club. There's only, I think, 6 or 7 clubs represented on the Austrian team here. So these kids have been playing with each other, against each other, and together at the national team for a while. And there are various other tournaments going on. The big one is the European Championships, which is the qualifier for the World Championships. It is a multi-year structure. Like, for example, this last spring, we started the qualification rounds for the 2025 European U19 and U20 Championships. I don't know which one they're actually doing this year or this coming year. So, for example, like Austria is the defending champions. They are qualified for the tournament. So their games to get ready for the Europeans are playing here at the World Championships. Country like mine, Denmark. So we had our qualification games. We play. It's a round robin. It's 2 round robin groups of 3 will play against each other, and then the top team from that group, those 2 groups, will go on to play Austria in another round robin tournament to determine the champion. So Denmark played a game in March against Sweden, lost pretty handedly. They played another game in May against Germany, again lost pretty handedly. So now they're waiting for the last place team in the first group, which is, I believe, France, Italy, and Finland, and they'll play for the 7th place medal, so to speak. after that. But they're playing games throughout the year. Like Denmark, they're lucky; their qualification's over. Some of the other ones, especially with Italy and France, with the way their season is structured, they try to play the games outside the structure, so they still have qualifying games left in September and November, I believe. But this all leads to the European Championships next year. So these teams are going to get together. They have camps, they have friendly games, they have the qualifying games. They're playing a game or two at least a year every year, and they're used to playing with each other. They know each other. The communities are small. The coaches know each other. A lot of the coaches coach for the same clubs. Um, it's a very small knit community, and so when it comes to coming together, a lot of times the offenses are. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the Vienna Vikings offense, um, since most of the players come from there. You get a similar structure, basic structure, and they have a team that's already built. And then every year, guys graduate out, new guys come up from the U17 program, which again, a lot of countries have U17 programs. I know in the Nordic countries up here, we have a Nordic championship every other year. So, our kids are playing games at U17 and then they graduate to U19. That's a big advantage that these teams are teams. The United States selects a group and then they put a team together at the camp that leads into this. So they get to know each other for a week. Some of these Austrian kids have known each other since they started playing football. So that's a big advantage. So, all right, let's move on. See a little bit more football on the field. All right, got a little switch release up at the top. Another kind of jump ball situation. Beats him off the press. That's a big wide receiver on the outside. That's a good catch. Again, kind of throwing the ball up in a spot where only your guy can get it. Again, I thought Luna had a pretty good tournament when he's not flat on his back. That's a good catch. That drive did lead to a touchdown. Don't know why this highlight film didn't have it, but that's fine. All right, little power lead. Bumping it outside. Not a bad job here by stretching it out. And we force a fumble. Nice big hit by 21 there. Knock it loose. All right. U.S. definitely played better in this game than they did against Japan. They kind of realized what they did to themselves in the previous game. And look who pulled it out. Our guy, 25. There he is. Get in there. I bet you he's the one who strips it out. Great play. Does it lead to something? No, does not. All right, Austria is coming back out. It's running 10-yard out. It's a long throw. 3-step drop, plant the foot, drive the ball to the sideline. It's a great football. It's a great throw. Clearing out on the outside. Get leverage coming downhill a little bit. That's a subtle little thing to create space. Run the same level, come downhill towards the sideline. It's good route running, good awareness by the Austrian slot receiver out there, number 17. All right, little guard lead. They got some big boys in Austria. 78's a big guard. He got away with a little bit of holding there. It's all right. Falling forward for some extra yards. Next up, okay, kind of a space finder. Reading it for cap, we run off. So posts, little curls on the inside, find space, find 17, and then he just accelerates and finishes. All right, nice little air raid concept here. Just finding space, sit down, catch the ball. Let the Americans tackle themselves, get through. So 7-8 now, and fail here in pass protection. Trying to cut number 6. Doesn't work. He comes off free. Great awareness by 93. And again, another fail and a cut here, but you can see he's in good position there with his hands down, putting his hands on the shoulder of the guy who's trying to cut him. And even if this came out right, this route spacing here is not the best. I'd like to see 17 break off a little bit more. That flat defender would have been able to cover both, but doesn't matter. Quarterback's expecting to have free release or his eyes free, and he just gets walloped. And 91 finishes it off. Again, another guy plays for the Graz Giants, plays for their men's team, playing against these high school kids. Even though they're the same age, it's like playing against boys. Big difference. And just like that, Austria is up 14-8. But Americans come back out, run a little draw here. Again, throughout this whole tournament, stuff like these draws and the screens were about the most effective things that they had, and that says a lot. When you would expect the Americans to have the ability to have their way with. I mean, they've got a size advantage. You would think they would have other advantages. I mean, you look at, talked about Austria having 6,000 total players to pick from. There's over 1 million high school players in America, and even with all of the kids that we talked about in the last one, where they have to submit their own information, their own highlights, and your stars are enrolled in college already. The young guys are out dressing like superheroes, playing 7-on-7, but you would still think there would be enough of that million player pool to come up with better talent. But yeah, that's what you see. All right, so but it's a good draw play here, good run. Okay, coming downhill, good job of squeezing here by the Austrian defensive end here, not getting too wide. I mean, you're treating this like a zone read. Slow play the mesh. Squeeze down the line of scrimmage. Linebackers there for the spill. Good fundamental football. Huddle, we're doing this again, aren't we? Okay, we'll call this back here. I'll show you around this also a lot here too. Little skip pull from the guard. Same side counter. Same side power with the orbit motion. And that causes the linebackers just to widen a little bit, which sets up the pull. It's a nice little subtle use of movement to create space without having to run any kind of fancy concept. It's just using the eye candy to get a little bit wider. I like the formation as well. All right, same orbit motion. Okay, this time we're running with inside zone. We're able to bounce it outside, which again, when the motion came, it reset the formation defensively. And when there's a blitz on with it, you get through the first level, there's nothing but space. So good recognition by the Austrian running back. Nice feet. And then finish the play, fall forward for an extra yard. Play action. Deep cross with a mesher coming underneath. No, I'm sorry, it's not a mesh, this is a delay. And this is size and experience from the quarterback. He knows what he has. He's not rushing. Waiting, letting 27 getting deep in his blitz. Flick of the wrist. Get it out on the delay route to the tight end. The tight end finishes it. Okay, setting it up. Gets there. Again, great play and a great awareness by the quarterback. He knows with this kind of setup that he could get hit. Because when this tight end shows down block, that gives 27 the green light to go. He's running a route. I bet you if he runs right out of the gate, bet you 29 or 27, excuse me, sits out there. But gets that down block, gives 27 the freedom to go, and quarterback number 7 has strong enough arm strength that he can just flick his wrist as he's falling back and get it out. And then again, our tight end does the rest. So, we'll play action on the stacked formation. And this is just a screen. Again, we're inviting the Americans' aggressiveness and then just getting the ball out into space, and then we let our playmakers finish the play. A little flat screen. And again, slot receiver is staying behind the line of scrimmage the whole time, so it allows the tight end who's playing slot and the wide receiver to get out there and block. We're inviting the line to step down. We give them run action. We let them be aggressive, and quarterback just stands tall in the pocket. Quick flick of the wrist. He's not even stepping into this. His feet are set, and he just rips it. And then our slot receiver finishes it. Great job. And again, just like that, Austria comes out and runs, again, essentially a screen here. I mean, they're running, it is, we're sitting down here and then we're running to the back corner. But just this kind of action, it forces the Americans to protect the goal line, and that allows 85 to just sit the back of the back line and wide open. So just like that, 22-8. Next come back, and 92 just made 54 look like his not something pleasant. 54 just way too tall. Great hands by 92. And again, for as bad as people think the Americans played, the teams they played against played better. That's the important thing. Gotta give those kids their credit. Just the movement and the quickness of the Austrian line. Great job. Because again, I bet you 92 spends most of his club games right now practicing against grown men, playing against grown men. Put a 17, 18-year-old kid in front of him, lights out. Now, again, Austria bringing pressure this time. The Americans negate it with a screen. Again, one of their more successful plays that they ran was just this little check down screen to the running back. It's a big lineman getting out in space, 78. Just enough to give a cutback lane for the running back off of the middle linebacker. It's something. Second and long. So now you're getting yourself into a manageable 3rd and short, or would we even get the first down? No, we didn't get it. There we go. We're on the wedge play. This kind of thing is what you would expect to see from the American line. I didn't see it too often. All right. So quick feet, set. Basically one-man route. He knows he's going to get it over the top, throw it back to the hash mark. Probably get a little more inside with the ball. A little bit wide release. Maybe he's able to run up the hash mark, get a little bit more yards, but nice quick release. Put the ball in a good spot. Good catch. All right, we're moving. And coming back with that zone read again. And great discipline by the Austrians. Squeezing, reading the mesh. Once we see empty hands from the quarterback, we squeeze all the way, we finish. And again, scrape exchange on top by the linebackers, that even if the quarterback does keep it, linebacker here scraping over the top, he's got QB. But by this point in the tournament, we know the quarterback isn't keeping it. Comes a screen. This time the Austrians are ready. Great job by the middle linebacker. Oh, anytime you see a linebacker with a single digit number on, you know he's a thumper. Number 0 now, especially. Great hit. And they just have had no success on this play because one, the quarterback is not a threat. He hasn't ran, and then 2, good fundamental football from the defensive ends. Okay, squeeze, empty hands, scrape downhill. And again, this time we force it out. See, and now the Austrians are really starting to get aggressive because they don't see the quarterback as a running threat. I think maybe he was trying to pull it out here. But even if he did, scrape exchange is set up that the linebacker here is going to pop him right on the line of scrimmage. Good fundamental football. Pop the ball loose. Austrians get it back. Okay? And again, another sign that these Austrians play together often. You see plays like this. So fake our toss out of the orbit motion. Come back downhill. Basically student body right. Power G. Pulling everybody. Coming back to the wide receiver. The convoy in front of him. Look at that speed. Again, American linebackers don't know what to do. Okay, GT. Same side GT. Kind of tough play to run from the same side. You really don't have a lot of space for the running back to get in. And kind of shows. Okay, pretty good job here by the American nose, standing up the center, getting his hands free, shedding, getting in there. They got good players on that team too. Okay, here we go. Getting being aggressive, blitzing. Austrians not getting their eyes up on their zones, not recognizing. Quarterback making a decision to pull it a little bit too late. Okay, and we're going to talk about, we talked about in the last game about sometimes in these tournaments you get coaches who try too hard. This is a very good example of trying too hard. Okay, you're down by 13 points in the third quarter. You're on the 40-yard line. Like, I get trying to be aggressive, but unless this kid is your best athlete, why are we running? Why are we running this? I mean, to get, and again, for what he's trying to do here, now, not a perfect snap, so we'll give him benefit of the doubt there, but he is standing on the 26-yard line. He needs to get to the 45. So it's not 4th and 5, it's 4th and 19. And yet we think our punter can run for the first down. And when you run an open kind of stand-up punt formation like this works if these guys are sitting down in their traditional stances. They're set up for return, something like that. But the Austrians are just playing in space, and you don't get that many good blocks, and you're expecting him to outrun all that. It's just idiotic play calling. Sorry. Because if the Austrians can come down and score on this, they can basically put the game away. Okay, get a little semi-roll here, full roll. Keeping the eyes downfield. Great defensive play here. Is that our guy? I don't think it is. Great play, though. Okay, good recognition. Staying with your guy. Pretty good job of quarterback contain here. Understanding where the role of the flat defender when the quarterback leads the pocket. All right, running that hunt route again. Got mesh underneath. 10-yard out. And then we're curling, and then we're running away against man. Good spot. Going through progression. So if we're progressing 1, 2, 3. We have 4 as the wheel on the backside. Good pass protection. The Americans are only rushing 4. And some of us are not rushing that hard. Just gives us plenty of time to find space. They've got our orbit motion again. Okay, good, great aggressive. That's our guy. Okay, reading. This is great fundamentals here on reading the guard. So our guard pulls. It's a backside linebacker. We're coming downhill and we're working to meet him as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He just continues to kick out. So we're just flowing downhill looking for the first gap we see. And boom. Great play. And that was 4th down. Austrians get a little tricky there on 4th down. Again, overcoaching sometimes can cost you. So this, Americans get lucky. Okay, we've got to see quicker feet here. You know, spacing wise, he knows where he wants to go to this. This ball has got to be out of his hands before the receiver gets out of his break. And that just allows the Austrian corner to come downhill. Again, it's a big corner. Downhill, boom. Hits him right as the ball is getting there. Great hit. So Americans get the ball, or Austrians get the ball back. Again, controlling the line of scrimmage. The Austrians getting tired a little bit. I think if the Austrian quarterback had this back, he'd be throwing to the slot receiver. His key should be this flat defender sitting out here. And the Americans are able to swarm it. But it's 2nd and 1. So now you get 3rd and 3. You don't lose anything being aggressive on an RPO, but probably should have thrown it. All right, so here, again, quick little ball inside. Good hard throw. Throw between 2 defenders. Get a nice little screen here by the umpire. He doesn't screen that. I bet you 25 gets in there. And running hard and finishing. Again, you see this a lot. Okay, tackle. Why are we going for the strip? Go for the tackle. Finish the play. Can't make a play if you don't finish it. Again, another great throw on this little, what do we got here? Little stop and go. Curl in against, got space, run up the seam. Again, this is probably built off of, they've run this snag concept a few times already. So we're setting them up. And now we run the little takeoff here off of the sit, go, find the space, run it down, get it down inside the 5. Me on an empty formation. Just a slant. Got leverage. Leverage, but more importantly, they got matchup. They got a neck roll on our slot receiver. That's, I mean, we're going to win that all day. And Austria's just out here in their base personnel. I mean, running backs over the slot. So, great job isolating a neck roll on our best slot receiver. We're going to score that all day. All right, so 30-11. Patience. Again, running mesh. Running mesh. America's running man. And we end up having 4 guys chasing the running back. Nobody picking up the slot receiver. Wide open. Wide open. Great play calling. Great design. Very air raid-esque, the Austrians' offense. Really like watching it. Okay, and we're setting up with eyes. Just eyes to the running back. But he knows he's coming back to the mesh the whole way. He knows 17's going to be there. Great play design. 32-11. Okay, we're into the 4th quarter now. And there we go. Again, number 12 played pretty well in this tournament as well. And caught the safety lean into the 3 receiver side. And now you just essentially isolate it one-on-one. You already see the Austrian corner here is playing a little bit too far over the top to be turning out already. And then the American receiver just boom. As soon as we get those hips turning out, we plant and go inside. So now he's already 2 steps behind when he tries to turn around. Yeah, nothing we do about that. And it's a good throw. Bad fundamentals by the Austrian corner. Okay, good job of understanding leverage for the American receiver. And all of a sudden, we got a little bit of a game left. Not when you have plays like this, though. Okay, corner's getting caught with his eyes in the backfield. Okay, not going to criticize how read steps are taught here, but the way that I teach it, if my corner is playing 5 yards off, okay, if it's man, my eyes are here. I don't need to look inside. Okay, but with the leverage I got, I take 2 or 3 steps. I can afford to have my eyes in the inside so I can react to the football. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there. I should already 1, 2, 3. Okay, and by those 3 steps, what I have here is I have mesh. If I have mesh, I put my eyes here. Why? Because I'm not on the run fit as a corner. So I'm secondary. I fill. I clean up for inside in the run fit. So if I still have eyes in the back or if I still have mesh, I got to keep my eyes here until I know we have empty hands. Okay? If I got to this point here and the quarterback was set up to throw, I attack the point that he's throwing to. If I get to this point and my quarterback is still dropping, I find my receiver and I run with him. Gives me enough time to catch up. But by the time I finish my read step, if I see a mesh still in the backfield, I got to get my eyes on the receiver and just get caught flat-footed. And the Austrians pick up a nice chunk there. Okay, coming downhill. Short side mesh, or short side dump off to the running back. That's a little risky. Well, not risky, just not really a play designed for a high level of success. I would maybe read levels on the other side, come back to 16. Peek outside. Peek outside, read 2 to 3. But they just come off a penalty, so right, so here I think we have a little bit of miscommunication. So same side GT coming off this action. I mean, as a running back, I'd be bouncing it here. I think he sees. I see what he sees right here. Because we're trying to, maybe he's trying to get this as a cross read, bad read here. The linebacker's flowing downhill. But linebacker here, he sees block out here, block here. He's coming downhill here. He's just sitting there waiting. And then we get great individual effort here by the blitzer to run through that. And getting late in the game, 14-point lead is not a huge advantage. This is a situation maybe Austria's trying a little bit too hard, get loads a bit too confident. The Americans get the ball back. Okay, get lucky here. Get two receivers in the same spot. I think 12 snaps his route off a little low. And I think 17 here, he's just watching the ball. I mean, part of me even wonders if he's trying to throw it to 12. But good concentration. So again, we got to fix that spacing a little bit. You get three receivers basically in the same spot on the throw. So I'll space that a little better, but it's a good catch. Okay, 4th and short. Again, they run the QB sneak. Good second effort by the quarterback. Gets it. Okay, running the draw. Again, about the most successful play they've run all day. Running back here looking for a block from his wide receiver. Not getting it because the receivers are kind of taking it off. I don't like this. We just assume that since the ball's supposed to go inside, I don't have to block as a receiver. Nice tackle by the corner. Okay, 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left, 4th and 2. We're running a draw. That's curious play calling. I mean, the Austrian linebacker sniffed that out. That's going to be close. They did not get it. So the Austrians get the ball back. Quick ball to the outside to get the first down. Okay, good route. Snap that off a little bit harder. Austrians just looking to drain the clock out. And again, Americans playing loose in coverage. You're thinking, why don't we just run the ball? Well, the Americans have been doing a pretty good job stopping the run in the inside. But we got a quarterback with a quick release and a DBs who are playing off. I mean, 6 yards is 6 yards, whether you hand it off or throw it. Get the first down. There we go. Now the quarterback keeps it. Smart. Okay, set it up. Okay, there was really no C-gap defender here. Because our end is playing in a 4. He does slant outside, but he's working across. I think he's expecting a linebacker. They got a blitz. So who's going to have the quarterback out here? The safety. Gets out there. A little bit of late hit by 27. Wonder if they called it. Good read. Okay. Good sized quarterback who can run. Something good to have. All right, got the first down. And we're just trying to drain the clock. Inside of 2 minutes, inside zone. Just hand it off. Take 4 plays. Americans are using their timeouts. And Americans dropping 7 in coverage. Is working to keep everything underneath them. Force a scramble. So we get 4th and 7 with 50 seconds left. I, to the life of me, don't understand the logic of this. You're at the 35-yard line. Like, okay, I understand the mindset that, okay, a punt, okay, you're gonna work to get a first down. Nothing there. Okay, we're just gonna get rid of it. But no awareness. And then after the ball's kicked, nobody knows where it is. And nobody reacts. And look who it is. Our guy. Effort. Okay, this is really great awareness. Finding the football and just running. Okay, and again, this is just trying way too hard by the Austrians. I mean, taking a knee there would be just as effective. So now, 32 seconds left. All of a sudden, we have a one-score game. Americans get the onside kick. And they have a chance to go down and score. One-score game. Throwing a one-man route. Don't quite know the benefit of running a one-man route with your best receiver, and everybody knows it. So we're just going to run triple coverage. And running a draw on 3rd and 10. Again, I mean, maybe not. I mean, get yards, but tackle inbounds. 18 seconds left. Fundamental football. Who's he waiting for? Throw the ball 12. Throw the ball 12. He's going to get 5 yards after the catch. I'm going to say Luna's had a good tournament, but this is dumb. And there's your ball game. The Austrians, I don't want to say try to give it away. They try to make the game more interesting there at the end. But they finish it off. Again, one thing that I like pointing out when I see it is, taking a knee, half the team's walking off. Okay? It's about sportsmanship. And sometimes we don't see it. All right, so there you go. Disappointing, to say the least, the Americans' performance at the IFAF U20 World Championships, but it is a testament to the growth of football around the world, that these other countries can compete and play against the Americans. It's a sign of maybe things need to change about the selection process, but the selection process for the American team starts with the players themselves. So if you have players who have things they would rather do in their summer than play football, there's only so much blame you can put on the program, put on the coaches when, the players don't want to participate. So it is what it is. But great showing by Japanese and the Austrians against the Americans, not being afraid, not being intimidated by seeing that USA across the jersey and just playing their brand of football, playing aggressive, playing fast, playing fundamentally sound, and that's what can beat teams that are on paper more talented than you. That's how it is. All right, so that's it from Edmonton. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Badger content here coming up as we're getting out of the summer and into fall camp. Pretty soon, we're going to be talking about the evolution of the air raid offense at Wisconsin and what we can expect to see changes or evolution this season from last year. But until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.